Hi guys, Anna, Alchemist of the Arts here. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, then welcome. And if you've been here before, if you're used to my readings, then thank you for being here too. I felt like doing this reading because it's the last day of 2021 today, and I know for many of you, you might be very much welcoming the end of this year. I thought it would be fun to do a reading and to see what are we saying goodbye to on the last day of 2021, or what can we say goodbye to on this last day of 2021. So I didn't want to draw any cards. I wanted to keep it really, really organic and see where I was pulled with the different decks I've got on the table. Pile 1, this is this shell. Pile 2, this is this beautiful I think it's moss. Oh my gosh, moss agate, I think. Unicorn. And then pile 3 is this Viking shield pendant. So I'll give you a moment, just follow your intuition, whichever pile you feel drawn to. If you feel drawn to more than one pile, you know, there might be different messages and different readings for you. You might be drawn to all of them. Feel free to watch all of them. And as usual, if you get a message you don't like, you don't have to take it. It could be meant for somebody else. It could be something that doesn't resonate with you. We always have free will. We have the power to discern and to change and to pick a different course. You know, we are the creators of our realities. So I'll give you a moment and then I will start with pile 1. Okay, so I'm going to move pile number 2 and pile number 3 up here. Pile number 1, the shell. The shell is absolutely beautiful, and as I picked it up, whenever I look at it, I find it more beautiful for the fact that it's broken, because that makes it completely unique. So perhaps in 2022, we're embracing everything that we are and letting go of anything that we no longer feel resonates with us. If we've been holding on to opinions about ourselves where we feel we're not good enough, not beautiful enough, or that are false in somehow, some way, limit our beauty, it's time to let go of that. What is pile 1 letting go of today? Yeah. Okay. You might have felt very, very blocked, or you might not have felt like you were in complete alignment here. You've got the 10 of fire here, and obviously in this image we've got somebody, this incredibly powerful fiery soul with all chakras aligned, fully fired, activated, ready to go, tools in hand, the absolute architect of their existence. This guy's fired up and ready to go. And all it's saying is that there might be a potential blockage if you're not quite fully in the upright. If it's in the reverse, you might not be fully seeing yet your power. You might not fully be seeing yet how you can create your reality, or how incredibly powerful you are. And it could be that, you know, because we've been holding on to these limitations and these beliefs in the past, these thoughts and ideas and perceptions of self, this pain, these stories that have kept us in a hurt and wounded place, that have kept us from realizing our power. And the fact that that's in reverse, I'm going to take it as a positive. So moving into 2022, the last day of 2021, which is today if you're watching this today, but moving into 2022, what you're saying goodbye to through the end of 2021 is anything that has kept you from realizing your power, your beauty, your strength, anything that's been pulling you into alignment. This is an invitation to leave that behind. I feel like the journey that you've been on and you've been through the last couple of years, as most of us have been equally parts damaging and very illuminating. You might have had some really difficult circumstances, and for some of you, grief and bereavement, and for others of you, other kinds of loss is what I'm getting. things that have weighed very heavily on the heart, and situations that have just kept you from feeling in full strength and full power. And this is really an opportunity now to step above and beyond these limitations, and really to step out and into this beautiful version of self. No matter how damaged you might perceive you are, the rest of the world sees you as beautiful. So this is all about seeing the way you see self, and the way you yourself sort of shows up in the world based upon those assumptions that we hold about ourselves. Where am I going next, Spirit? To healing messages or tarot first? Okay, I want to go there. Okay. Let's get some of these. Whoa. Okay, alright. I'm only going to take the two that came out upright. Yeah. Ice Queen, introspection, self-analysis and fortitude. And throat portal, which is the throat chakra. Speak your truth, courage and suppression. So it's like you are finally going to step into your power. Self-reflection and introspection are really valid tools. They're really important, but they have their moment, and then there is the moment where they become damaging, where we can't become overly critical of ourselves, where we don't speak kindly to ourselves or about ourselves, and we don't actually see the full truth of all that we are, because we become stuck in this this sort of limited, smaller version, and that isn't always the healthiest place to be. What they're saying, leaving behind in 2021, what you can leave behind today, especially with the new moon coming on the 2nd, it's like the opportunity to leave behind any of this weight that you've been carrying. It's like they're saying to me, just like, let it go. Let go of the past. If you want to step into your greatest strength in 2022, let go of the past now. And I know that's easier said than done, but it's like stepping up and stepping out so that you can fully embody the current version, because the old version is gone. And I know that even sounds ridiculous coming out of my mouth, because it always feels like the old version is always there to a certain or lesser extent. You know, we can't just get rid of them. But they're saying to me that there are literal things that you might be able to recognize within you that it's time to let go of and say goodbye to, because they're not even a current part of your life, and it just becomes habitual. Holding on to things becomes habitual, even if it's thoughts or patterns of behavior. And it's saying it's like time to let it go now. Time to let it go. Let it be in the past so that you can fully step into this future. What do power ones need to know, please? What are they saying goodbye to? What can they say goodbye to? What can they ask to say goodbye to? Anything that stops them from moving forwards, yeah. Yeah. It's time to say goodbye to anything that prevents you from moving forwards in pursuit of the life that you want to build for yourself. And it's almost like there might have been things that have happened where you feel like you cannot on your own responsibly or realistically build a new, profitable or secure, stable future for yourself within yourself. It might be that you've always looked or depended on somebody else in order to provide you for that sense of security. But what's changing here is that you're now building upon the security within yourself. And this is a really powerful place to be. This is the opportunity to let go of all of it, to let this death card transform it, so that we can step into 2022 and focus on building the security within ourselves and the strongest foundations from the ground up. There is no truer foundation than that. No truer foundation. And from that place is where we get rapid movement. It's where we find our happiness again. It's where we come back to ourselves, where we find our peace. It's remembering that we have choices too. It's not the people around us that necessarily, if we've been very used to people treating us a certain way, judging us a certain way, thinking that we have limitations, we start to impose those limitations upon ourselves. And actually what this is saying is, no, you have choices too. Yeah, choices can feel confusing sometimes, especially if you don't know what you're building on yet, or where you're starting. But the thing is, things are changing so that you can start building this foundation. And remember, you do have choices. You're allowed to decide how it's going to be. You're allowed to choose how you want it to be. Yeah. Embody the Empress. Allow things to come to you, but also, you know, what do they want to share with this card? Allow things to grow. Allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to think beyond. To think beyond the energy that you've been in. Allow yourself to think beyond everything that's happened before. Think, live, feel, dream beyond it. And don't allow these limitations to get you stuck. Just because, you know, foundations of the past might not have come together, it doesn't mean they can't come together now. You absolutely can make this happen. You can absolutely build security within yourself, for yourself, create happiness within yourself, for yourself. You can absolutely have choices and make choices about your life. And this is what you're leaving behind now in 2021, what we're saying goodbye to. It's just saying goodbye to anything that makes you feel like you don't have the power to make choices, that the past in some way defines you, that you can't speak up and speak into existence what you want, because you are the architect and you are the alchemist and you can do all of it. Oh, this is powerful energy power. I'm sorry if you can hear my neighbour's washing machine as well. It's just suddenly got very loud. Yeah. And stop looking at the past. This is the big thing. Stop looking at the past. Stop looking at what didn't work out. It's all transformed you for a reason. And whilst we can hold on to grief, to fear, to anxiety, to these emotions from the past, when we feel them and allow them to move through us, we are changed. We're never quite the same person, but that doesn't mean the person that we are is any lesser than the person that we have become. If that makes sense. We grow into a completely new version of self in spite of everything that's happened. We are enriched because of it. One of the most powerful things that we can do is take any negative circumstance or situation in our life and see how we can transform and grow through it, or how we have done. It isn't necessarily something that we can do in the moment when things are happening, when it's raw and it's real and it's there and it's in your face. But seriously, in the fullness of time, going back and realizing how all the things that didn't work out actually worked in your favor and were there to benefit you, that is powerful. That is true energetic and emotional alchemy, and that is so powerful. Let's get your oracle cards for you. Explore other realms. Absolutely. Whatever didn't work out, whatever the pain of the past was, there's new to explore. There is better out there. If this is heartbreak over a person, there is better out there, and you can speak it into being. You can manifest it. You can call it in. You can make that person come to you. You can have choices. You can have options. If it's just all other areas of life, you can do the same thing. It doesn't have to be a person. But keep exploring your options. Look at your options. Know that you've got options. Know that you can make choices. You have the power to use your voice and make choices. Knight, be brave and be honest. Absolutely. And this honesty absolutely starts with being honest with yourself. Be honest about what you want. Be honest about what you want to be. What is it you want to build and create? What is it you want to work on? And let's get Goddess card as your final message, please. Final message, please, for... In fact, I'm going to do charms as well. Final message, please, for pile 1. What pile 1s need to know? What are they leaving behind? What are they stepping into? That's 2 questions. We've got 2 cards. Kuan Yin, compassion in the reverse. And white buffalo cufflement, reverence. This reverence, yeah. Respect the past. Respect the past and everything that's happened for you, because it's turning you into the woman. It turns you into the Empress. The past doesn't stop you from being the Empress. It doesn't mean you're condemned to a life of being the Ice Queen, even though Elsa was pretty kick-ass, you know. It doesn't mean just because If you're alone now, it doesn't mean you're always going to be alone. The whole thing with Elsa is, why am I bringing up Elsa and Frozen in a reading? It's hilarious. I have 3 daughters. Let it go. Just let it go. Let the past go. Why? Because it doesn't stop you from stepping into a positive, bright and wonderful future. You can absolutely do that. The Empress is waiting. The Empress is there. You can step into this beautiful energy. But you need to have compassion with yourself. Absolutely have compassion with yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't be harsh on yourself. You know, let's get some charms for you. This can be loud, so if you've got headphones on, then you might need to take them off or turn it down quickly. Okay. Yeah. This is something one of my daughters made me, actually. It says love you. It's a little love note in a jar. And it just says love you. And it's just a little reminder that you need to fill that jar with love. And anybody can fill that jar with love. But most importantly, you fill that jar with love. You keep filling your vessel with love. Love of self. You've got loads of runes here. Absolutely loads of runes here. You've got Athala, you've got Pethro, you've got Bjarkan or Bacano, depending on which name you prefer to use. I call it Bjarkan. And Turisas. This is absolutely, you've got new growth coming in the future. This is representative of the birch, of beautiful feminine energy, a very fertile energy. It is new growth, new beginnings. You've got another shell, which is interesting, and another broken shell, which is again really interesting. Your what you might see as your faults, your fault lines, your breaks, your scars, those are not imperfections. They make you unique. They make you beautiful. Pethro, this is the rune of the lockup. It also speaks of taking chances. This is you throwing your hand in with life and saying, no, do you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take those chances. I'm gonna take the chance of being happy. This is Athala. This is the rune of destiny, the rune of inheritance. And to me, it can be a rune of karma, of destiny, inherited in that way, which doesn't always mean to be a negative thing. It can mean the claiming of one's destiny. And with Turisas together, I'm getting this very strong sense of claiming one's destiny. Go after what you want. Fill this jar with love. Allow yourself to be filled with love. This beautiful little flower. And again, oh my gosh, this little charm, it's damaged. But you know what? It's still a beautiful flower. For some of you, you've really been holding on. You know, this has been like a chain. It's been like a heavy weight around you. You felt really bound to this whole idea of whatever's happened, you were never going to get out of it. It was never going to change. You weren't worthy. You were never going to be anything better. There was never going to be anything greater. And you know what? There is, there will, there can be. This very much reminds me of the the Six of Swords. This is you getting your butt on your boat and you're just deciding, no, do you know what? I'm going raiding. I'm getting in my Viking longship and I'm going raiding. I'm going to go and find my destiny. I'm going to go and find my future. The past is done. The past is gone. This is me embracing my future and I'm going to go get it. So, pile 1, what you are leaving behind at the end of 2021 is anything that stops you stepping in to your best self, to your greatest energy, and realizing your potential and the magic of everything that you are. Okay? And what you're stepping into in 2022 is this beautiful energy where you follow your dreams, you love yourself for exactly who you are, and you just pursue it and you pursue your truth. So I hope this helps you. Wishing you a really happy 2022. And I will see you in another reading. And I'm going to put all these cards back and I'm going to shuffle. And then we're going to go ahead and get in with pile 2. I think I need to get some new Oracle and Tarot decks in the new year. I'm just feeling it. I love my decks, but you know when you get into those patterns, you're like, You're ready for some new. Where's the crystal for that one? There you are. So I'm going to intuitively draw the cards and go with the cards that I'm called to use, like I said. So if you're watching me in between, I'm just kind of talking to myself as I sort these cards out. So I might not use the same cards for every pile. Let's see how we feel. Ooh. Okay, we're going to go that way. That's fine. Okay. Quick. Change and break in the energy. And onto pile 2. So pile 2, you pick the unicorn today. And this is another little trinket of one of my daughters. Unicorns are, of course, unique. And I think what you're leaving behind in 2022 is anything that doesn't make you feel like a magical fucking unicorn. Excuse my language, but that's how it makes me feel. Let's draw some cards. Where are we going with this one? Different. They want me to do these first. Okay. As I said with pile 1, I'm just going to go with whatever cards I feel intuitively drawn to. Might not be the same cards for every pile. I tend to do that with personal readings. Just go with where I'm drawn. Trust. Galactic guidance. Okay. For some of you, I'm getting a real Pleiadian starseed energy. So for some of you, if you are familiar with starseeds or you might identify as a light worker, you might suddenly be having a spiritual awakening or having an awakening of certain gifts. My lovely pile 2s. Sorry, pile 2s. Didn't mean to call you pile 1. You might suddenly be having a kind of awakening of self. This, I feel like, will be going into 2022 and 2021. I feel like you've been getting nudges and questioning and trying to work stuff out. And in 2022, this is where you begin to understand it more deeply. This is where it starts to make sense. It's where it starts to come together, where all the pieces suddenly start to align, and then you start to get clarity. Then you start to understand it. Then you start to understand what you might be here to do, or there's aspects of your journey that you've been asking for assistance and guidance on. And I feel like all of this ambiguity, anything that hasn't been clear, is what you're leaving behind. Nice. I like this energy pile 2. Clarity, gaining clarity and leaving behind anything that isn't clear. Okay, yes. Got you. Anything else? You wanted to, didn't you? Oh, interesting. Pile 1's just had the same card in reverse and I've shuffled it loads. Interesting. Okay. This is one of my favourite cards in this entire deck. This is the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. Very complex. Healing. Yes. Healing the self. Okay, pile 2. For some of you, what you're leaving behind is this feeling like you're eternally a student. I mean, we are all eternally a student. However, feeling like you are not learned enough, not understanding enough, you haven't learned enough, you're not far enough along in your journey. It's like there's something you might want to share or express or embrace. These spiritual gifts, perhaps. There's something about it and you just, if you've been doubting it, or if you've been feeling like you're not ready, or there's something you can't do, it's almost like this is what's shifting out now. And you're going to become far more sure of yourself. We've got the 2 of Earth here. This is pulling things back into balance. It's understanding that the message that's coming through, the energy that you're stepping into is realizing that actually, no, we're probably never the master of anything, because just as we feel like we've mastered something, we'll go to a deepening level of the spiral. We'll go to a deepening level of our own healing, of our journey. And then we have to evolve again. Then we have to grow again. Then we might feel like we've gone back to square one, except we haven't. It's just a deeper phase. It's a new phase. It's something we're going into, something we're embracing. Anything that has kept you from the realization that you can create heaven on earth, and that all things are these reflections, the internal state is the external state, as above, so below, as so within, so without. You are beginning to understand some of these concepts, and I feel like this has been a year of great learning for you. It could have been a year of great awakening. It could have been very unexpected. There could have been a lot of unexpected truths suddenly realized. That could be pretty world shattering. It can be huge. But it's like you are easing through this. Whatever's gone on, these big changes that have occurred, you have negotiated your way through the worst of the grief and the suffering, it feels, but you've not fully risen as the phoenix yet. And I feel like you're waiting for that moment where you rise and you emerge and you're there and you're in your power and you're in your presence, and you're in between those two worlds with the heaven and the earth in the reverse. It's like you're in between those two worlds. You're not quite one thing and you're not quite the other. You're not quite the old life, but you're not quite the new life yet. And you feel in no man's land. You feel stuck in the middle. This is where the trust comes in. So with galactic guidance, if you have been interested in star seeds, I would definitely go and look up star seeds and maybe do some research into it, because I'm definitely getting that vibe. For others of you, it could just be spiritual awakening and light worker, calling upon your guides, calling upon your trusted people in your life, if you have them, to provide you with assistance if you need it. But you've got to trust that you are in the middle of this transformation. You are in the middle of this evolution. You are in the process. It is happening. It's happening. Trust it is happening. Let go of your doubts. You're leaving behind in 2021. You're saying goodbye to the doubts. You're saying goodbye to this this not knowing, because you're digging deeper into self and you're beginning to trust in that spiritual sense of being, where things become a little clearer. You begin to trust in the intuition, and you're like, oh, okay, no, this is making more sense. I get where we're going with this. I understand this journey. I understand what that was perhaps meaning. And you begin to trust in the middle, knowing that you are going to rise again. You're going to get there. It's going to happen. You're going to do it. There's no need to worry. You need to trust. Let's get some soul guidance cards for you. You are cherished and protected. Absolutely. So whatever earth rapture, there are big changes on earth. There are big changes on spiritually within the 3 and 5D at the moment. And it's entirely possible that you've been going through this spiritual awakening through 2021, and it could have been a really huge and changing experience. And it's trusting that there is like a spiritual support team, if you identify as having people like that around you, beings like that around you, if you pray, if you have rituals that you do that make you feel more secure, more connected to your spiritual self. It's saying to trust those and to do more of those. But know that you are also cherished and protected as these changes in your life occur, as this change in your life unfolds. Start anew, begin again. Yeah. It's trust. It's trusting in these changes. This is the theme for you. Keep the vigil, justice will triumph. For some of you, if you've been dealing with injustice, or it's injustice on a more global scale, then trust that justice will prevail. Trust that the right thing is going to unfold. Trust that it is going to be witnessed and will be seen. Start anew, begin again. I feel like you're in the middle of this process. You are in the middle of you're not quite at the begin again. You've gone through the start anew. It's like you've broken down the old constructs and you're in the process of rebuilding the new ones, but you're not fully there yet. It's not fully done yet. And that's where this kind of gets a bit much for you, perhaps, or sometimes it feels a bit much. But I feel like this is what we're leaving behind now. Anything else, please? Nine of Cups, Three of Swords, the World, Explorer of Cups. Yeah, absolutely. The Nine of Cups is all about wishes. It's about attainment, about feeling assured within yourself. This is the energy that's coming, and it's coming after the heartbreak. Sometimes these two experiences come at the same time, and that can be really confusing, and we have to trust the process. Sometimes we lose something and it opens a door at the same time, and that can sometimes happen at exactly the same moment, and it all feels so weird. The beginning of a cycle in the world and the ending of another at the same time. That's how this feels for you. And it's that feeling of being stuck in the middle. And they're just saying, keep believing in yourself, keep following your heart, keep following your intuition, keep trusting in your intuition, and just keep moving forwards. You know, there's nothing to fear. Just keep aligned with your heart. That's an awful lot of, that was me. Shuffling. I've been reading cards for about 4 hours. We're waiting a bit late into the night, but I would really like this video to be up for tomorrow, which is today, which is the last day of January. Oh my gosh, the last day of December. I don't get your words right. Mountains, stand your ground. Yeah, keep resilient, keep focused, stand firm. She-Wolf came out when they all flew out. Unleash the wild within. This is unlocking and untaming more of your wild self, your true nature, the truest nature of yourself, understanding who you are. You know, stand your ground and believe in yourself. Stand your ground and know that you can keep doing this. And especially if you've got other people around you that may want to question you or to pull you down a little bit. You don't have to justify your existence to them. Okay? You keep doing you. Unleash your wild. Learn who you are. Know who you are. Follow your dreams. Follow your heart. That doesn't mean any radical changes in your physical life either. A lot of the time, we keep our physical world relatively samey. Sometimes it's a complete disintegration of that too. But, you know, we can go through huge spiritual awakenings, and the waking world around us feels difficult, but it doesn't change that much, and it's all happening within us. White Witch, be the light, and realize that you are way more than everything that you ever told you were as a child. And those limitations, you know, you can step beyond them, step above them. You can fully embrace this much larger version of self. And I'm being very drawn to this. You know, it's like the iceberg beneath it. Everything that you believe you are right now is the tip of the iceberg. You are literally a being of unlimited potential. So believe in yourself and allow this process to transform and allow it to go through. Pile 2, I really hope this helps. I hope it resonates. Remember that you are a magical unicorn. Do remember that. If you're feeling drawn to research starseeds, then definitely go with that. But you know, it's not everybody will identify with starseed, but I'm getting for some of you, it wanted to come out specifically for a reason. So for some of you, if that is a sign, you know, take it as a sign. Go and look at and research the starseeds. I'm going to get some charms for you. This can be really loud, so, you know, do be patient. And what have we got? We've got a rune, Wunyo, joy. We've got a piece of rose quartz. Yeah, Wunyo is the rune of joy, of bliss, of attainment, of happiness. This is things coming together. This is the good times, the good emotions in life, being in that emotional state. And with the rose quartz, this is absolutely giving me that kind of energy. Be at peace with yourself as you transform. Be at peace with yourself. Be loving with yourself. Be gentle with yourself and kind with yourself at this stage of your journey. You know, you deserve, we've got the peace symbol here, you deserve to be peaceful. Don't allow, we've got the Kraken here, Don't allow other people to drag you down. Don't you allow them to drag you down to their depths. The work that you've been doing, you know, I'm getting some people turn up like a bad penny. Yeah, this isn't a bad penny necessarily, but it's just the message I'm getting. It's from 1979, if that means anything to any of you. That's pretty old now. For some of you, this is just saying, you know, don't allow this person that turns up periodically in your life and just drags you down to discern how the rest of your life is going to be. We're saying goodbye to that bullshit in 2020 with 2021. Sorry, 2021. We're saying goodbye to that. It's done, it's gone, it's out the window. We're using the smoky quartz to protect ourselves from these people. You know, we've got a pretty little Barbie shoe here. My sisters will recognize this. And this drink. And another drink. And for some of you, I'm getting really strongly. And there's this... No, what's that? Oh, interesting. This is saying, for some of you, it's like you really need to get out and go and have a good time. You need to let off steam. That doesn't have to involve alcohol. But it feels like joy, celebration, dancing, getting out, going and having fun, doing those good things in life. You know, don't hold yourself back from those. And again, the spiritual awakening can really rock our worlds, where we suddenly find it hard to identify with the real world around us, You know, when you might not go out or as much or see people as much. And it's saying, you know, whether that's connecting with somebody and going for a walk and just sitting on a park bench, or whether that's doing that by yourself and finding your peace and doing that by yourself, or whether it's going out and meeting a friend for coffee or meeting a friend for drinks or going out dancing. Go out and be in your joy. That's what they're saying to me. So pile 2, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope it resonated. I hope it made some kind of sense. With 2021 leaving, you're going to be saying goodbye to a whole load of limiting beliefs and baggage and anything that stopped you from being and feeling like you can have and be the absolute best version of yourself. But it's also letting go of those. It's just allowing yourself to rise in 2022 and not being frustrated with yourself if you're in the middle of the process, you know. We're always all in the middle of the process somewhere, and if you think you're at the end of the process, often we then find ourselves at a new beginning within that process, and that's absolutely normal. So don't feel frustrated. There is no completion date. You are not late for, you know, you don't have to white rabbit yourself. You're not late for a very important date. You're right here, right now, and in the present moment, that's exactly where you're supposed to be. So, get these shuffled. I hope this helps you anyway. And pile 2s, I hope you're still here. Thank you for being here. I hope you have the most incredible New Year's Eve if you celebrate. And I hope you really have a wonderful beginning to the new year. Okay. As always, personal readings are available if you feel called, if you feel inclined. Just feel free to send me a message on my Instagram or email. Everything's in the description box below. And let's get on with pile 3. Okay, pile 3. If you were drawn to this Viking shield pendant, then this is your reading. I got with this that the message was, it's time to stop defending yourself against absolutely everything, or it's time to drop your defenses. Those are the two kind of messages. I mean, I was a bit intrigued when I felt called to draw this one out. Excuse me. Just gonna have some water. I was intrigued when this piece wanted to jump out, but it did happen for a reason. And it's that feeling of defense, of needing to defend oneself constantly, and being in that state for very long periods of time is so draining and so wearing on the soul. So we're headed straight to these. With these, this is the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. Okay, for pile 3, please. What does pile 3 need to know? Wow, jumping cards. I'm going to take them. Interesting. Okay. We've got the Queen of Fire in the reverse, Heaven and Earth. We've got the Seven of Air in the reverse, the Ace of Water in the upright, and Love in the reverse. Okay. Okay, instantly, this is what you're letting behind. It's old stories about love. So you might not be here for love. But this feels very much like a love pile. If there was going to be a love pile, it's this one. And it's not just because the love card's there. It's holding up those defenses. What are we defending ourselves against? Sometimes the things we defend ourselves against are the things we want the most, because it's what hurt us in the past. And it's those wounds that hurt us, that betrayal, any kind of betrayal that hurt us in the past. You know, we build defenses, and even though we might see somebody and we might love them, we might want them, we might want to be with them, when it physically comes to the act of being in that state with them, we can put up the walls. And what this is saying is what we're leaving behind at the end of 2021 is building up these walls that block out love from our life in any form, whether that's friends, whether that's relationships, whether that's good times with people, whether it's manifesting what we want by blocking our heart chakra, whichever it is. But what we have stepping into 2022 is this emotional new beginning. And that's a really, really beautiful thing. This emotional is like a promise. There is this potential. There is this potential, this promise of new loving energy that wants to come into your life. And it can do that. It comes into your life when we lower our defenses. We have to be open to the giving and the receiving of love and reciprocal energy in order to feel it manifest, in order to feel it full stop, in order to see it grow, in order for it to transform. So, for many of you, there could be this really... There could have been this really big desire to bring heaven onto earth, to have a union with somebody, to have this true relationship, this beautiful relationship, having had many bad ones, I'm getting perhaps. Sorry for knocking the camera. And what I'm getting is that, you know, these past betrayals, these past circumstances, it's time to let them go now, because they are literally blocking your energy. I've got two people here, two individuals that feel very, very... It's like one blocks. So this might actually be reversed energy. It's like one person blocks and the other person then reacts. And then they block themselves because they wonder what's wrong. And it becomes a cycle. You know, we've got the cycle represented by the Wheel of the Year here. It very much feels like that is what's ending. There is this potential to end this cycle and to fully embrace love by stepping into new emotional cycles. But you've got to be willing to let down the defenses in order to do that. And I know that that is hard. I know it's not easy. It's not natural to most of us. But that is what we're being summoned and called to do in order to have the love that we want. Because you do want it. It's like you do really want it. Or you want this relationship or this person or this, whatever it is, you want to feel this in your life, but it's that there's either you are defensive or the other person is defensive, or there is just an element of defensiveness. Okay, let's get... Yes, here you go. Utopia and emotional freedom. So in order to get this, you get your utopia, you get your heaven on earth. You get that through emotional freedom. To be emotionally free means to allow the emotions to flow freely through the body. Opening the heart again once it's been closed for quite a long time can, or being guarded for a very long time, can bring an awful lot to the surface. We can suddenly process a huge amount of emotions, and that can be very challenging sometimes. And it isn't always connected to the immediate situation. It's just things that are triggered, old emotions that arise and triggered. And then we go back to the defensive state. So it's like we open a bit and then we shut down again. And you might find this is your other person's energy. They open a bit and then they shut down again. Or it could just be your energy in any aspect of life if it isn't connected to love. So let's work out what this emotional freedom is. Let's work out how we get you to the state of emotional freedom, because this is what we're letting behind and stepping into. Okay. What are we leaving behind and what are we stepping into? What do pile threes need to know, please? Okay. Mm-hmm. There is just this big fear and this big prejudgment, it feels like. These judgments from the past and these prejudgments of the future based upon the past. Because things were not balanced in the past, or in some ways it's like things feel imbalanced. And if one person is defensive, or if the heart is, if they're defensive emotionally because of the past, then it's not often reciprocal, or they want to reciprocate, but it feels imbalanced. Even though there might be an awful lot of passion and attraction. Let's get some more cards on this. Yeah. And these blockages lead to tower moments. These blockages lead to tower moments. And it's almost like when we've lost it, we almost justify our experience. Because it's like, well, I knew that was going to happen. But actually, we played a part in perhaps making it happen, and that's really hard to hear sometimes, and we don't want to hear it. But what I'm getting is there is a lot of love and passion here. So if this is somebody that whether this is an actual person, or whether this is how an old situation played out, and now it's like, I know I need to do this thing in order to invite this person into my life energetically, to be open and receptive to them. That's another potential energy here. I think it's important to note that. So it could be, this is all the past energy, and this is the situation of the past, and what you're wanting to bring in is this emotional freedom, to have heaven on earth, to have the utopia, to have the Ace of Cups, you know, the Ace of Water, the new emotional beginning. So what does pile 3 need to do then in order to achieve this? Okay, yes, we know that's what they want to achieve, but what do they need to do? Yes. Perfect. Look at that. Probably the only 2 cards in the entire deck that involve walking away or moving away. All 3 characters, 4, have their backs to us. It is definitely, this is leaving behind our past situation, or leaving the past in the past. So as 2021 closes, leave the past in the past. Let it be gone. Let it be done. Step into this new future. Day by day, go about by building this new foundation for yourself. This new foundation where you begin to trust again and open again and feel less defensive again. And it's not to say that, you know, if new triggers arise, or if you meet somebody new, or if a past person comes back, often we get triggered again. And it's absolutely okay. It's just working through those triggers and consciously working through them to achieve our emotional freedom. That doesn't mean avoidance. It often means facing the things that cause us to be defensive. And when we feel triggered into defensiveness, then going, okay, no, do you know what? I need to take a moment now. I need to take a moment and to gather myself and remember what it is that I want and the bigger picture here. And I'm going to work through this energy. I'm going to work through this energy because it's worth working through this energy. Okay. So I feel like I want to get the bottom of the deck. Oh, see, what did I say? It's the Ace of Cups again. Knew I needed to look. I don't always, but when I'm called to, I do. If you can go through this process piece by piece, day by day, you will gradually lower those defenses. Some days it might be easier, some days it might be harder. But there is this huge potential for an emotional new beginning here. And it really feels quite beautiful. And like I said, it feels like there's a lot of love and a lot of passion here. So definitely just keep focusing on those emotional triggers as they arise, little by little, moment by moment, in order to achieve that little bit more emotional freedom. Okay, that we move beyond ancestral patterns. Absolutely. Mountain, stand your ground again. Peacekeeper, let go of the need to be right. Okay, if this is a person that you love, someone you're in a relationship with already, perhaps you're married to this person, moving beyond the patterns of the relationships we witnessed growing up, or we've witnessed on our friends or on TV, or what we think is expected on us, of us based on those, can be challenging, but it is certainly possible. And you need to remind yourself that it's possible. Realize that sometimes you need to stand your ground, stand up for yourself. Sometimes you have to really be accountable to yourself and stand your ground with yourself in order to stop yourself from running or closing up or slipping into old patterns. But also with Peacekeeper, let go of the need to be right. Sometimes we need to stand our ground. Sometimes we need to not be the driving force in conflict, or we need to know when to step back and say, actually, I don't need to be part of this conflict. I'm not perpetuating it. I see your point of view, I see mine, and now I'm ready to walk away from the, not necessarily from the situation, but from the conflict, and that need to be right. Okay, pile 3, let's get some charms for you. This can get quite noisy, so please, if you've got headphones on, you might want to take them off. Lovely. Okay. You're looking for the missing piece of your puzzle. That's how this feels. It's like for some of you, this could be a second chance. I put this in here because it's like a ball and chain. And it's broken. For some of you, this is a second chance to find the piece of this puzzle. Now, it's a reminder that no one else can complete us. They can certainly pull together the different pieces of the puzzle to build the 10 of Pentacles, but it feels like this is a second chance after what was quite a difficult love situation, whether that was a marriage. For some of you, you need to get outside and spend some time in nature. I've got 2 high-heeled shoes here. Now that could just represent a need to, do you know what I'm getting with this? You need to get your best clothes on, the things that make you feel really, really good. What makes you feel really good? Get them on, get yourself out there and just feel amazing. Just feel amazing. This always reminds me of the Surveyor rune, but also this is like that lightning strike, Wow, I just got the expression lightning never strikes quite twice, but sometimes lightning does strike twice. That's what they wanted me to say. They wanted me to say sometimes lightning does strike twice. So for some of you, this is a definitely second chance at love kind of energy. Best friends, it's like that broken heart. You might have literally, there's 2 here that are speaking to me like you think this is the other piece of your puzzle. The other half of your heart, and you're either looking for that, and in which case if you're looking for that and this isn't a person from the past that you want to come back, it's remembering that you have to open your heart to love yourself first, and then you will love more fully. So we've got 3 runes here. We've got Athala, we've got Wunyo, and we've got Manas. Manas is the rune of self and of community of mankind. This is saying build happiness within yourself. Wunyo is the joy of happiness, fulfillment, attainment, bliss. Build this happiness within yourself, because what is yours will come to you. Athala is the rune of inheritance, and this can mean inheritance karma. I'm getting a soulmatey vibe, maybe a twinny vibe if that resonates with you, but definitely there's a sense of like destiny afoot here, really destined love, and you've just got to open your heart. You need to unlock that heart. It's like one of you is the key. Somebody has the key to your heart. Maybe you are the key to your heart. It's time to unlock it and move forwards. I will see this as a chariot wheel. This is it reminds me of the rune Raido, but it also reminds me of the chariot card. It's time to move forwards. It's time to move beyond these old patterns now. And then we've got the 1, which is another ace, in my opinion. It is definitely new beginning time, new opportunity time. There is this potential for so much more than has been. So my pile 3s, I really hope this resonates with you. I hope it was assisting you in some way. Wishing you all the best for 2022. If you made it to the end, then thank you very much for being here. It's my pleasure to read for you today. Private readings are available. All my details are in the description box below, but just sending you all my love, and I'm very grateful that you're here. Wishing you a fantastic end to 2021, stepping into 2022. And I'll see you again in another reading, I hope. Take care. Bye-bye.